Cool. Hey, good evening, folks. This is Eshaan Jain. I am a senior product manager and enterprise AI and CPQ CLM leader, currently working at T-Mobile. I have over 15 years of experience working at multiple enterprises. Currently at T-Mobile, I have worked at Amazon, PwC, and Accenture before. Currently, my role involves building some revenue operations product, including Salesforce, to support T-Mobile's quoting and contracting process. So, as part of that, I am working for enterprise, SMB, and government clients to support the requirements to enable faster processing of the deals, to close the deal cycle faster, and making sure the contracts are accurately generated for T-Mobile that will directly enhance and increase the revenue. I am an active researcher. I am researching on generative AI, on sustainable AI, and a lot of other things. I keep on publishing the research work in IEEE. Um, on the side, I am also um, reviewing a couple of manuscripts from some very renowned publishers, where I'm reviewing their books for Salesforce, for generative AI, for machine learning. So I'm actively involved in all of these forums as well. So if you have to summarize me, I would say I build the financial nervous system for the enterprise revenue operations, where the AI meets the contractual certainty. As I mentioned, I am a CLM leader, so I want to make sure that the generative AI products that we are building, they are absolutely trustable, provide grounded results, and scalable for our enterprise um, contract management systems. At Amazon, I was managing a portfolio spend, which was the annual spend of $40 billion, and I supported building a machine learning product that extracts the contractual clauses from our transportation contracts, and that helped us accrue the missed revenues, the uncollected claims or credits from our vendors. As part of my research, I am an active contributor to several membership platforms. I'm a senior IEEE member, and there are about less than 10% people around the globe who are IEEE senior. Out of 550,000 IEEE members, there are less than 40K or 50K people who are IEEE senior members. So that's a badge of great honor. Similarly, I am a Forbes Tech Council member, and probably around less than 3,000 people across the globe are appointed as a member for Forbes Tech Council. Similarly, I am an active contributor on ACM, BCS, and AAAI community. So that was a brief intro about myself. Moving on. Uh, so how did I enter into the STEM, and how am I managing leading as a product manager or product leader? So the path was not linear. Um, it included a lot of ups and downs. Very early in my career, I learned the skill of pivoting. So when you're not fitting in, make sure you understand the gap, you find the differences, you work on them, and then you pivot your way to further navigate up and up. So I started my career as a software engineer, where I realized that uh, I am probably not too much interested in writing code, but I am fascinated about solving business problems. So that was the first pivot that I made early in my career, from a core tech software engineer to more like a business analyst or a program manager. Currently at T-Mobile, as I mentioned, I am a CPQ and revenue operations leader, where I'm building CPQ. For those of you who don't know, it's configure pricing code, where you are building some revenue systems for the customers to close the deal faster, to make the quoting process and approvals process much more trustworthy and expedited as well. Uh, then Prior joining to T-Mobile, I was with Amazon, where I got first introduction to AI. As I mentioned, I co-built a machine learning product with another internal team at Amazon, and together we were able to hit 95% extraction accuracy of our contractual clauses. And today I am an active IEEE researcher, and I am working on a couple of other researches aspect projects where I am trying to optimize the token usage and making sure that the AI is user friendly, sustainable, and just where she understood the way I think and I operate. And she gave a comment that, hey, you think and talk in systems. Why don't you build one? And that changed the trajectory of my thinking and my orientation. And that's where gradually pivoted again into more like a product focused role, where I am working as a product manager. Where you feel like, hey, let me just quit. I had some of those experiences as well, where I was the only one in the room. Early during my career, I have been into a room full of people who looked nothing like me, who had different accent, who had more degrees than me, who had more exposure, more certifications than me. And that's where you start to self doubt that, hey, do I belong here? But then I think in that process, you need to think more about what is the difference between them and you, how you can identify and bridge those gaps between you to be into that position. That's where I realized that, hey, I don't need a room full of people like me. Probably I just need one. And fortunately, I encountered one person who had a similar growth or similar journey like I did back then. I offered him a coffee and we went for a quick chat for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And that's where I asked him, like, hey, can you tell me one advice? If you have to restart it all again, how would you do that? And how did you navigate through all of these challenges? So that has been very helpful for me, where I started to resonate. I started actually stopped self doubting myself, and I try to separate the feeling of belongingness because I feel like everything is skill driven there. If you don't have the skill, you probably don't belong. But if you are in that room full of people, probably you belong here. It's just like how you hone and further develop your skills. I learned a skill to quantify your achievements. So 95% accuracy on a $40 billion contract at Amazon. That's how we present yourself. So my advice to everyone out here is to make sure you are adding value to the process or to the product that you're working on, but at the same time, you are quantifying it properly for others and for yourself. And always be open, be receptive for the feedback. Do not let ambiguity kick in. Whenever you do something, ask your peers, ask your superiors, ask your juniors as well to share feedback, because that is the only thing, the golden mantra that will help you further succeed in your careers. My advice to current students is, um, make sure you have a path decided for yourself where you want to see yourself in next 5 years, and then things will start falling into place. What I wish someone would told me is that do not overthink about your belongingness, your accent. Those are just liabilities. You just need to have a unique, a different viewpoint, and that makes you class apart from everybody else. Your skills have taken you this far, and then they are going to further push you to higher success. So I would always recommend students to stop self-doubting themselves, keep pushing their boundaries. The second advice would be to stop auditing themselves, because we always start judging ourselves before someone else do. So, and then that brings in more apprehensions, that lowers down your confidence. So I would say just be confident, just keep doing what you are doing. You are doing a great job in upskilling yourself and fighting against all the odds. Just keep building whatever you are working on, and then forget the feeling of that you don't belong somewhere. even if the room doesn't belong or doesn't look like the same as you do. Just keep working hard to make sure that you justify your spot in that room. So Amazon did not hire me because I looked like everyone else in the room, but they actually respected and valued my viewpoint, and that's where they brought me on board. So I would always wear the difference, or the difference in my viewpoint, my opinion, as my badge of honor. So as I always quote, that your difference is not a deficit; it is just a signal that the field or the domain needs that difference. And over the course of 15 years, I've realized that the goalpost has constantly been moving and so many different times. When I first started, I always wanted to work in, these fancier, shimmering glass buildings, wearing long coats, holding a cup of coffee, and then walking into these glass buildings in New York. That was my dream. And then I made that happen to be true. But then after 15 years, I realized that, oh, maybe I was looking at it differently, but the way I look at success today is totally different. uh, I always thought that, okay, you just need to pick up one skill, keep mastering over it, and that should be good enough for your career, and then you don't need to learn anything else. But I was terribly wrong. In the current age of AI, we have to learn everything, and we have to constantly update our knowledge. While I was in college or in my undergrad days, I always thought that code is more important than anything else in life, because coding jobs are going to pay you much more than any other profession. But feels like after the onset of AI, again, that doesn't hold to be true anymore. And then there are several other jobs which doesn't involve full set of coding, but are similar or even higher paying. And lastly, I thought maybe you just need to blend into the culture wherever you are joining, and then that's how you will survive the corporate. But today, when I look back and I see that, hey, you actually need to define the culture, you need to shape up the culture. Uh, you just don't need to survive on it. Always think from business standpoint, how big of a problem you are solving, how impactful that problem is going to be, how many users you're going to touch upon, what lives are you going to change in. Just solving a few bugs here and there is not going to change anything. So I have realized it hard way that the most expensive problems are, not technical, but probably contractual, because I live and breathe in contractual domain, CLM domain. I would say if you mess up with your pricing rules, or if you mess up anything on your contract, that is not a bug. That you will realize it after 3 quarters with a six-figure revenue loss. My only advice to all the listeners here would be not to go update your LinkedIn, not to go apply for more jobs, but maybe find one person in STEM field. Do not ask them for a job. Do not ask them for any other favor, but just ask them with one simple and honest question about how they reflect their journey so far, what things they would do otherwise, what things they would do differently, and that would help you shape up your careers in the future. That was all about myself.
Yeah,
I'm
so
happy with questions.
Jean, I think you spoke like really nicely about yourself, and I think your career has been obviously 15 years of experience, so that's a lot. And I could see just by a presentation, you have a lot of experience in what you're doing. But even in the end, your last piece of advice was to reach out to someone. So that came with me for another question. So throughout your entire presentation, you talked a lot about mentorship and how you interacted with other people. So, do you think as a young person that's just starting out in anything, in any endeavor that they're doing, do you think having a mentor would really help them? And if so, how do you go about getting one?
100%. I think mentors are very, very important while growing up the ladder, be in corporate, be in school, because they will share their journey, they will share the challenges well in advance with you, and you'll be more prepared. So it's not just when you're in school, you need to have mentors, or in your early careers. Even after 15 years of my professional experience, I still have a couple of mentors who I constantly go seek advice. uh, validate my thoughts, share my journey, share my approach. And I ask them to be brutally honest with me. And that's where they keep me grounded. They keep me honest with all the latest trends. And that has been very helpful. The other part of your question is, how do I approach to find more mentors? So there are many, many programs where you could sign up for mentors. And then at the same time, I would also like everyone to be, you can be a mentee, but be a mentor for somebody else too. Find somebody who you could mentor and you could add some value to their lives, their professions, their careers as well. So they could be high school students if you are in college. They could be college students if you are in industry. They could be early career professionals if you are mid manager. They could be mid manager if you are a senior leader in an industry. So always have at least two mentors and at least two mentees, so that way you will constantly learning, and then you will constantly be sharing with other peoples.
Okay, I think that was really nice. And another question that I had was, throughout your presentation, you also talked about like how you pivoted through like the usage of like not only focusing on software engineering, but then also going into the business side of things. So, do you think AI is now a main thing that would help with both of those sides? And if so, how would you be able to use AI to help yourself in both of those fields?
I'm glad that you asked this question, because when I started my career, I mentioned I started as a software engineer. After a couple of years, I realized I am a terrible coder. I didn't like coding. I didn't find passion. I didn't find interest in coding. I was just doing it to, just survive, to make money, and then, just stick to the corporate world. But then at some point, I realized this is not going to be sustainable. I cannot be doing this programming job for my lifetime, because I don't find much interest and fun in doing that stuff. So that's where I start exploring options, and then I learned that there are two different branches: software development and software engineering. So since I came from all the tech background, I didn't like the software development stuff, which is core hardcore programming coding. I absolutely enjoyed and loved software engineering, which is shaping up the entire products, see how the softwares are built, uh, running agile frameworks. So I focus more on the business side rather than on the syntax side. So I mean, I didn't care that, hey, if my coding syntax is appropriate, if I'm missing out a semicolon here and there, if I have put the right function parameters or not. I was more focused on actually solving some real world business problems. And with the arrival of AI, I think it has been incredibly easier for somebody to either pick up one particular field, development or engineering, or if you have interest in both, you could just work on the blend of both. So I call it as product engineer, because that's a combination of software engineer and a product manager. So you combine both. Those are called product engineers. You might have heard of a new role that has just been coined. It's called forward deployment engineer, which is FDE. It is the most popular job role out there, which pays incredibly well today. It's a combination of both software development and your consulting slash product skills.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think excellent question there. So I would highly encourage all the students to be a part of at least one group. So I am an active contributor and a participant in so many different research organizations. But if they have any active interest in research, go just join IEEE. If they are part of student, then they are probably gonna get highly subsidized membership rates. If not, I can offer to give at least three students some assistance on signing up for those memberships. So if anybody is interested, please let me know. I'm happy to share some some assistance on getting onto the IEEE board. Uh, that will help them to see what are different events happening in their vicinity or virtually. They can sign up, they can join, and they can actively, just grow their more interest into whatever fields of research they like. Similarly, they could be part of ACM, which is another prestigious organization in terms of research. And you also mentioned about mentorship. So in that case, there are several mentorship programs they could sign up at university level, at school level. There are independent organizations that provides mentors, and you could sign up for a mentor. And then once you have a mentor, you could reach out to your mentor who could put you in their network and further get you another mentor. So I would say at any given point of time, always have at least two long-term mentors, and then for short sprint for a quarter or so, always try experiencing new mentors. You'll get to know more about the current industry trends, more about how you can think differently from others. A great question. If I am again 13 or 14 years old, what I would do is enterprise production ready systems, but I would still pick up a genuine problem around me. Again, I mean, it could be the food delivery app, the parking app, anything, just to start with. With the assistance of AI, it's so hard to now wipe code, give more prompts, or, set some loops to write these apps maybe in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks. That's how you get exposed to AI. And that's where you will constantly start developing skills over AI. Once you are into that, go talk to people, show what you have built. Even today, whatever projects I built, whosoever I meet, I just start a conversation that, hey, I'm actually working on this research. This is my product. Would you like to take a look at this? So that way I constantly get feedback. So during my presentation as well, I mentioned specifically to always be receptive for the feedback, always welcome feedback, because that will help you grow more and more. And even if you are young and then still deciding whether STEM is the right field for you or not, with the assistance of AI, if you just pick one genuine problem around you, could be again anything. You don't need to be solving a money making problem, but you could do any productivity problem. Try, fix that, build some automation, build some cool website around it, build some portal, try to bring some difference in somebody's life or in your own life. And that will definitely give you, more weightage than the others. And that will surely gonna give you a head start in your careers.
Yeah, I was just about to ask one more. So, Ishan, I know you talked about a lot of your experience with like switching careers. So, for a young person out there who has like some people that want them to do a certain career, but then they want to do another one, and then they're in a turmoil between selecting between two careers. How would they choose, and how do you determine what's the best course for your future?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I have always been on those crossroads to decide one thing over the other. And then sometimes you are connected and you are passionate to pick both, right? Because both careers or both passions are equally important for you. But that's where you need to make that tough call that, hey, this is what I want to do for my majors. This is what I'm going to do for my part time or for my minors. What I would say is that try to identify the cause that you're more connected to, and that will help you understand what is a good fit for you, and if you are a good fit for that particular career or for that program. So it should be a two-way binding. It should never be one-way connection. Either you are more fascinated towards a career and probably the career is not the right fit for you, that's not going to fly out. So both should be the right match, because that's when you will be always driven, you'll always be motivated, and you'll constantly work on, enhancing your skills and just keep up with the good amount of work.
Okay. Yeah, I think well, I don't have any more questions. I mean, when how do you have any more?
No questions, but I would love to keep interacting with other, students or engineers, whosoever wants to follow the STEM path. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I am actively posting AI related content and product management related content on my LinkedIn account. So if you want to learn more on those trends, feel free to drop me a request or follow me on LinkedIn. And again, if you have any questions, again, my doors are always open. Feel free to reach out either through both of you or directly on my LinkedIn account, and I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, we'll be sure to like drop your contact information wherever we post this. So yeah, thanks a lot, Ishan, for your help again.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good night.